Marriage is one of the most important relationships we'll have in our lifetime. But how do we make it work? How do we make it last? Tonight, we'll talk with a couple who has made their marriage last for more than half a century, and we'll learn the secrets to their success. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Living a Godly Marriage. I'm Voncille Greene. I'm here with my wonderful husband, Melvin Greene. Tonight, we're fortunate to have a wonderful couple on the show who are going to tell us the secrets of staying married 50 plus years. Brenda and Alton Carson, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All the way from Chatanooga, Tennessee.
Chattanooga choo-choo.
One of the things that Mel and I do that we've mentioned to y'all before is we go on a marriage cruise nearly every year. And one of the wonderful things about going on a marriage cruise, you get to meet other wonderful couples. And tonight we're going to talk to Brenda and Alton.
Yes.
Who are going to tell us the secrets to being married 50 plus years.
That's right.
So we're learning a lot from them tonight, and welcome to the show.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So I just have a quick question for you. How did you meet?
Well, we met in high school. Actually, my high school sweetheart, and it was kind of funny because she didn't want me and I didn't want her, and people were my best friend was trying to get us together, and finally we realized we really liked each other. And from that, it just grew from there. But basically, we met in high school. Actually, as you said, we've been married for 54 years, but actually known each other for 57 years. So, we kind of just got together, and both Christian people. In fact, we went to the same church. And so, it just kind of grew from there. And as time went by, she got soft and decided that she did like me. And so from there, it just grew. But just a great relationship, growing up together and maturing together, as well as growing spiritually together. So it's just, that's kind of how it started.
That's great.
That's wonderful. And so tell me, how did you know, Alton, that Brenda was the one for you?
Oh, man.
Let us count the ways, right?
Let me count the ways. And for one thing, and I guess this, goes back, I guess people don't use the phone as much now. We would get on that phone, man, at night and talk until one of us went to sleep. Nobody wanted to hang up. So we decided, maybe we just need to get together. We be together all the time. But just that's the one thing. I knew that. And then plus, I don't know, I felt, I guess in myself, a maturity somewhat of that. I was actually ready to get a serious relationship and get married. Oftentimes they say teenage marriages don't work, but of course, you put God first, everything works. And so it just came to a point. Really, I was not financially able, we'll say, to go off to school. So I ended up working, and then this was the best avenue because Brenda was actually a year behind me in school, so I kind of waited for her to get out. But it just I don't know, grew up in a spiritual home, and knew how to treat women because my father treated my mother well and knew about girls, and so it just got to be a thing of am I just going to be a rugrat around here and just kind of hang out with the fellas, and I'm going to get serious about life.
All right. And Brenda, how did you know that Alton was the one for you?
Well, I knew that he was a good worker, and I thought he was rich. Anything I asked for, he bought it. Anything I thought I wanted, he would buy it for me. And he was just the one for me. I didn't think so at first, but then he did everything that was right that a young man should do for a young woman anyhow. And we just knew that we wanted to be together. We wanted to be together, not thinking that we wanted a family right then, but we did want to be together with each other. We needed just each other.
So let
Great.
me ask you, how many children do you have?
We have three grown daughters. Our oldest is 53. Then we have a 49-year-old, and we have a 45-year-old that'll be 46 in July.
That's
Wow.
excellent.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Well,
God has
well,
blessed
we
you.
have- I would say as well, we have 6 grandchildren.
Oh, that's
Wow.
well, I won't say I'm jealous. I think that's great.
That's
Maybe
a
one day we'll
real
have some
blessing.
grandchildren.
That's a real
Yeah,
blessing.
that is a
I tell
blessing.
you. I
Yes.
tell you. Well, let me ask you, Alton. It's been 54 years. What's the most romantic thing that Brenda has done for you? Or if you can't think of the most romantic, at least one thing. What romantic thing that she's done for you in
That
your
you can
marriage?
tell us.
Can't tell you.
Mhm.
No, seriously. I guess one of the most romantic things she did a few years back. Brenda surprised me on my birthday, and she took me to New York
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
for 3 days. And of course, all of the trimmings and all the toppings that went with a trip like that. So it was very special, and it was nice to do. We got so used to the kids and grandkids, and the grandma house clothes and the grandpa house clothes that we went, and it was very romantic and very, very, very special that she did that for me because I had no idea. And when she put all the romantic stuff with it,
Well, we won't
real Southern hospitality.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
we won't ask you to get into the nitty gritty, but we get the gist of what you're saying.
Mhm.
So, and Brenda, if you would share with us the most romantic thing that he has done for you.
Well, I would say it would be my 50th anniversary. 50th anniversary. I talked about it and I kept saying, I want another wedding. A wedding. We
Wow.
had a full blown wedding for the 50th.
Oh, that's
Everything, all the trimmings. And we started out with no more than maybe 50 people, but we end up with over 200
wow.
at
my
our
God.
church. And everybody at the church was willing to pitch in. They wanted it also. So that right there, and he went all out for it. He didn't want to. He didn't want to, but
That's
he
love.
did.
That's love.
That's
He
love.
went all out for it. And the daughters, they were excited, but they told us, this is the last time you all getting married. Y'all been married 3 times.
Third time was the charm because
3 times we done been married, but this was the best. The
Yeah.
50th
Oh,
was
That's
the best.
wonderful.
actually when we first got married, we got married at our pastor's parsonage when we were 19, and then we renewed our vows on our 20th and had somewhat of a wedding. But then on the 50th, we said, well, maybe, baby, we better try. They say the third time's the charm, so let's go for it.
So I have one more question for you. What is the biggest challenge that you have faced in your 50 plus years of marriage, if you can talk about it?
Yes. And Alton, what has been the biggest challenge for you as a husband? And Brenda, what's been the biggest challenge for you as a wife?
If you would answer that question, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I would say one of the greatest challenges has been parenting, and parenting turned out really to be a blessing because it helped me to realize that everybody's got a different personality. So you had 3 kids, so you got 5 personalities, and just the challenge of doing that, and I would say particularly that. But as far as the marriage, because I would say as far as the biggest challenge in the marriage is just staying on focus. The thing that helped us most is that, like I say, we were both brought up in the church, so we know that with God in the middle is the main thing that helped us, because Satan is busy, and as you say, I guess in the marriage that's the biggest challenge. In fact, I have shared with people sometimes over the years. I say Satan will try to get you there, make you think you're not where you should be. I say, but the main thing is you got to be listening, out of the right ear. I say, but now I'll be honest with you, because we've had people say, well, you got a perfect marriage. I say, no, we've had our struggles. We've had ups and downs, not necessarily anything financial, but like I say, with the children, with employment sometimes, and just some other issues. But as for, like I say, as the marriage itself, and I tell them, I say, now, I would be telling you a lie if I told you you had a perfect marriage. I say, so don't think that's possible. I say, but you learn to compromise and to get along, and like I say, to keep, mainly keep Christ-centered life going on. But, and I'll also share, I said, now anybody that's been married for any length of time, I said, and I'll say this, I said, you hear the same thing from my wife. I said, there's been times I've said, man, when these kids get grown, I'm out of here. And the same thing with her. Same thing with her. So, as marriage goes along, but like I say, that's that natural man over there trying to make you do that. And so, learning to get along with that. It's times early on in marriage, especially as young people, but we never have been separated and never have been apart. But just the challenge of dealing with the reality that each day when you get up, Satan has got something for you, or somebody's trying to whisper in your ear, but just continue to pray and ask God to strengthen, and to bless it. And marriage, because this would be politically correct, but I used to always tell guys, I say, marriage ain't for sisters, man. I said, you got to be a real man to marry, maintain your family, and not get caught up on what's going on in the world, realizing that you're in the world but not of the world. So, but it's just a lot of not really challenges it so much as the marriage, but like I said, just realizing I have to fight that daily for a while and get over always being correct.
Thank you, Alton, for that answer. Appreciate that. And Brenda, if I may ask you the same question as Alton just answered.
Yeah, what's been the biggest challenge for you as a wife?
As a wife.
Okay, as a wife, I would say it wasn't raising the 3 daughters. It was mostly sharing him with others, sharing him with the church. He was always at church, more so at the church than at home. And really, I was the bad guy. I did all the whoopings and the punishing. And it was me, and having to share him with the church. He was a mason. He was a Shriner. He was always traveling, his job, purchasing, and having to go just all over, and left me at home with the children, which they were 3 daughters, but still, I was the bad guy, because I did all the disciplinary and had to take care of the girls, get them off to school and that kind of thing. But that was the main thing, I guess, sharing him with others. And mostly it was through God's, plan that he was always in church, always sung in the choir, was always at 18 and 19 is when we got married. I was 18, he was 19. At 21, the pastor come and wants him to be a deacon. That was more. So he had to go to all the church meetings and different stuff. So it was that sharing him.
Okay. And so now that one of the things that we say to couples is that you need to get away, at least a couple times a year on a vacation. And a vacation, let me define that, is when the two of them go, because when the kids go, it's not a vacation, it's a trip.
Yep, you're right. And we did. We vacationed at least 2 to 3 times, and our girls, they are so spoiled. They vacation. Anytime they can go now, they go and they take us. If they tell us, check your calendar, we taking y'all. And they do. They've taken us to the Gatlinburg, to the Smokies, and
that's
Orange Beach, and whenever they say we're going and y'all going with us, y'all ain't got to do nothing but get packed.
Oh,
and
that's a blessing.
And the grandkids are worse. They want to go all the time.
Well, we do know that you get away alone, the two of us, because we actually on the ship.
That's what we did last week, and then we do it for Niagara Falls. We do that. We do that now.
All right.
Let us share this as well. So, what we do, because we have been married so long, we don't do gifts at Christmas. We always go away.
At
just
Christmas.
us. We have dinner with the children prior to Christmas, and we get away, and we leave them every year. That's our treat for us. But early on, like I say, it's just been fantastic. Some people that fit into my life early on when I was a young man. The place I was working, vacation came up, and the guy said, "Hey, Big Al, where you going for vacation?" I said, "I guess I'll be at home, doing honeydews, doing this and that." And it was an older guy. He said, "Let me give you a piece of advice. Always take your vacation, always pay yourself, get your wife away and out of the kitchen and from the, regular chores." So we did that with the kids, but like I say, now it's usually, at least every Christmas, so most of the time now we kind of travel along. And so, I think that too helps because Brenda is just a hard worker. I have to share that. Right now she has 4 volunteer jobs. So, and as well as, takes care of her mother on some days. So I have to get her away.
Yes.
Just do that. But we enjoy doing that, and we have.
That's great. That's great. Alton, you started to talk alluded to this earlier, but let me ask you how, and also Brenda as well, how has Christ made a difference in your marriage?
Christ has made all the difference because the number one thing, just in reading the word, and then when I began to understand the word and how to apply it so that it will work, I found just pray back to God what's in the Bible, and those are His words, and He'll take care of you. So, I think basically growing spiritually and having a wife, and that's the thing now. Usually if you see one of us, then you're going to see both of us at church or generally pretty much wherever it is. But just being Christ-centered and being able to get up, and pray together sometimes, and just the fact of all the promises that's there, and just reading and applying and finding out that's the most important thing going on in life, is reading the Bible and praising the Lord and trying to, comply with what goes on.
So Brenda, I'm going to ask you the same question as Mel just asked Austin. How has Christ made a difference in your marriage?
Well, I would say He has made, of course, the biggest difference by getting everything in order. We just continue to pray, meditate, and study. Every day I do journaling, and before I started, I pray, and whatever's on my mind, a word may comes out. If it's compassion, I go to the Bible and I look that up in my Bible in the concordance, and it gives me a difference every time. Every time I read that Bible, it may be the same word, but it's always a different meaning to me. But just being faithful. He's just been continuously faithful to us and to our whole family, to our whole family. So I don't know if we ever told you, we went through evangelist school for about 4 or 5 years. And that was the best thing that we have ever did. It taught us how to study the Bible better, how to meditate on the word, and just everything. And we passed it on to our family. And we're hoping our girls get deeper in it. And they are churchgoers. They left our church because they thought there ain't nothing there but old people. But they are at a church where they're getting the word, and it's young people, babies, all kinds of people, black, white, green, yellow, Chinese, Mexicans. It's everything at that church and all ages. And they're happy. They're happy.
My mother used to sing a song, you understand it by and by. And so they will understand it better by and by.
Yeah. And I want to pick up on a couple of things you said, because Voncille and I, we daily read the word together. We have devotionals that we use, whether it's our daily bread or in touch with Charles Stanley. I mean, it's just amazing bringing us closer to each other and both of us closer to the Lord. So you're so true. I mean, it's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
Right. And
you got to integrate Christ and keep him as the center of your relationships. Okay, we just faithful. Yes, and be faithful in doing that.
And if I may say, that's one of the things that sealed the deal for me when he asked me to marry him. I knew that he was a man of God. And my mother told me that's what I should look for, a man, not just a believer, but not in word, but in deed as well. And I remember, if I could share this one night in particular, I don't know what was going on, I don't remember, but he called me. I was feeling a little bit down and he prayed with me on the phone. And that really sealed the deal for me. When he did that, I felt so much better and I was able to sleep. So, yeah, God-fearing, God-loving man, not just in word, but in deed as well. And I think that's pretty much what you were saying about your
Brenda. Yes.
So in addition to keeping Christ as the center in your journey of 54 years, what are other secrets that you would, particularly that you would give guidance to young couples today?
The number one thing I would say is never go to bed angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I tell guys this, and not as a brag fact. I told them, I said, you know what? I said, in 54 years of marriage, I have never slept on the couch. I said, because we, early on, I told my wife, I said, now look, baby, I said, I'm a big guy, can't be hitting no couch. I said, so we just go have to work out what we work out and not go to bed angry, particularly that. And I think that number one thing. And then the second thing is being able to realize that you're not always right. You're not always right. And be a person enough to understand, apologize, or just accept the fact that you're not right. And then on the other hand, a lot of times I've told them, I say, if you're right, you can be right and you can be quiet. You don't have to get hurt. I say, be right, but be quiet. And then we had another saying we used to use. I said, well, really, we say that you say you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
There you go.
That's right.
I totally agree with you.
And one of the
well,
things,
we say either that or just be right and be happy. Sometimes I'm so right, Melvin, but I just be so quiet. And that's the advice I give them, because it's really silly. Because even other couples, you can get in arguments about the silliest things and be mad for weeks. I can remember sometimes early on in our marriage when we get mad about something simple as something on the TV. And, it takes a lot of effort not to be happy. Guys, everybody needs to know in their marriage, it takes a lot of effort to remain angry, and because it's unnatural. So you just need to come to a point where you can come to some resolve. of whatever the situation is going on, because you have to go out of your way. You know, I remember years back, I have to go out of my way not to speak to my wife or not to touch my wife or, not to cross paths and all that stuff like that. Of course, that's young people stuff, but I'm talking about to just get to the point, to know that it works if you work it. But
Yes.
Christ has got to be in the center because, like this day and time, always, you've got so much tugging at the outside world. And, that natural man want to have his way, but then the spiritual man is saying what he wants. So if it's, you have to try to be in agreement as much as you can with that spiritual man that's going on. But as far as that, the fighting, the arguing, stuff like that, we don't do, but like I say, that you have to be very careful because just little arguments about insignificant things, sometimes they probably ruin marriages and people regret later on. But just then to come from that, have the patience, like now, I know it's probably some things that I do that my wife don't really care for, and I know there's probably some things that she do that I don't care for. Like I say, Brenda's a reader sometimes, and for me, sometimes it's hard to get her attention if she's in that reading mode, And then, there's probably some things that I do, but we compromise. She's a lot of things I've done, as far as sports and all, she don't care for it. But then that's no problem. You got to realize that even though you are married, you still have to maintain a little bit of your own individuality to have peace.
Yes,
Totally. And
that's great.
so important what you've said. And if I may share, Mel has taught me, and I've shared this before, I could hold on to a thing. If I'm upset about something, I could hold on to it. I know in my first marriage, if I may, I think I've shared this before, but I would just drag him in the mud. If he said or did something to upset me, it was hard for me to let go. But with Mel, it doesn't happen. He will not allow me to
Thank you.
stay upset too long about a thing.
So she doesn't hold grudges anymore.
No, I do.
Which reminds me, forgiving each other.
Yes.
I mean, that's so important. I mean, we all make mistakes, and we have to forgive each other.
Some of us more than others, but if I may say. But Brenda,
it takes maturity. You
well.
have to mature. You mature into this.
Right.
That's
when we
right.
first got married, of course, it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this, but we matured into it. It takes time. It takes God in the center.
Yes.
And the beginning, the middle, and the end. It takes him the whole way. The whole way. But like he said, he's never slept on the sofa. I'm the one that have been mad enough to leave the bedroom. I go sleep on the sofa. I would, yeah. I'm the one.
Hey.
He never have, but I did.
Hey man, for 3 nights, by that third night, she was ready to come back, but I was getting used to the whole bed. I said,
well,
that's funny.
This has been great, y'all, and the time has just flown by.
Yes.
We want to thank Brenda and Alton Carson, and congratulations for being an example for us and many other couples. 54 years of marital commitment and following God.
Yes.
So we want to thank you.
Thank you.
And as always, we like to conclude our show by saying living a godly marriage is the best marriage. Amen.
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 God bless. Thank you all for joining us.